The 12th generation, Maharaja Dheerpal. The rays of the light of the old tradition of his ancestors had blossomed and matured the feelings of Jap-Tap, chanting and self-mortification, charity, bhakti, devotion, liberality, and sacrifice in the heart of Maharaja Dheerpal, so much so that every hour, nay, every moment, he remembered the upkeeping of the honor of his ancestors, whether sleeping or awake, whether standing or sitting, whether eating or drinking. His conscience was always finding ways of expression of the divine qualities of charity to the poor, respect to the saints, mercy to the handicapped and disabled, and devotion to God. He thought that his ancestors present in heaven always kept an eye over each and every one of his actions. His concept was that if he did every action in full accordance with the virtuous traditions of his departed ancestors and strictly and properly fulfilling the rules and regulations laid down by them, then God, the Supreme Father of all, will be pleased and would give great honor to his respected ancestors. But if he diverted the least from the tenets of humanity, then God will not bless his ancestors in heaven with happiness. Maharaja Dheerpal had the conviction that the happy consequences of good actions of a person surely his ancestors in heaven. There is a Sanskrit shloka stanza of poem prevalent in the same connection.
गीता गंगा च गायत्री गोविंदेति हृदि स्थिते चतुर्गकार संयुक्ते पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते गंगा गीता च सावित्री सीता सत्या प्रतिव्रता ब्रह्मावली ब्रह्म विद्या त्रिसंध्या मुक्ति गेहिनी अर्धमात्रा चिदानंदा भवग्नि भ्रांति नाशिनी वेदत्रयी परानंदा तत्वार्थ ज्ञान मंजरी इत्येतानि जपे नित्यं नरो निश्चल मानसः ज्ञान सिद्धिं लभे नित्यं तथान्ते परम पदम.
Which means that if the heart of a person is an abode of the four gods, divine powers, which is Gita, Ganga, Gayatri, most prominent mantra of the Veda, holy book of Hindus, the Govind, Lord Krishna, then he or she is not born again. That is, he attains salvation. The person who, with a calm and calm attention, remembers the chants, the names of Ganga, Gita, Savitri, the aforesaid sacred powers, and the faithful wives Sita and Satyabhama, Brahmabali, Upanishads, books of religious philosophy, Brahma Vidya, knowledge about God, Trisandhya, prayer of 3 times, Ardhamatra, the pronouncement of Om, which is Chidananda, energy and happiness, and capable of amelioration of delusion and apparent expansion, also studies and meditates upon the 3 Vedas, Rig Ved, Yajurved, Samved, which are embodiments of the basic principles and their meaning. He always attains Gyan Siddhi, mastery of knowledge, and in the end secures the ultimate goal, that is salvation. This is the gist of Gita, preached by Bhagwan Lord Shri Krishna.
पितृनोद दशाह श्राद्धतेह गीता पाठम करोति वही संतुष्टांग पितृशतशः निर्यादा नित्यं सकृतिमुह योग शास्त्रम संतुष्टाम पितृश्राद्धतर पित्रांग पितृलोके प्रयांतेव पुत्राशीर्वाद तदुपरांत.
That is, the Pitra people, Souls of ancestors are satisfied and highly pleased with one who repeats the texts of Gita and Yoga Shastras, classical books, for the sake of Pitras. They bless such a son, descendant, and make their way to heaven, thinking, see, in our dynasty, such a noble son has been born who ameliorated our state and has immortalized the name of our family. Maharaja Dheerpal, since his early childhood, was engaged in Ishwar Bhakti, devotion to God, charitable activities, service of the saints, and worship of the Guru. Like his father, he very much relished balanced food and simple living. He was entirely free from the habit of royal pomp and show like other princesses. He was not the least suffering from any ego. He never wanted to ride on a horse like princes, dressed in costly clothes, bedecked with diamonds and other precious stones, and thus strike an awe amongst his subjects. As a matter of fact, in the capacity of a prince and later as king, there was no dearth of horses, elephants, soldiers, and chariots in his possession. Still, he always felt self satisfaction and self elation in going on foot for Ganga Snan, holy bath in Ganges. He felt a special joy in walking barefooted, whether on cold rocks during the shivering cold or the blazing hot sand during the summers, or else storm and thunder. He went regularly to have a Ganga Snan. His parents were convinced long before that their son Dheerpal would be of renounced disposition like Bhagwan Buddha. Once, on a religious festival, the Ganga Ghat bank for bathing was packed to the full by dedicated and pious bhakts, devotees. All of a sudden, a youth fell down in the water and was carried away with the current. He began to cry with fear of death, dancing in the uncrossable waves. He begged for the terrible he begged for life to all the people standing on the bank aghast but helpless. Everybody was disappointed on seeing the terrible waves of the overflooded current. Hearing the noise, Kunwar Prince Dheerpal came running to the spot and in a flash took a quick jump into the raging waters. After a short while, he was seen fighting his way with the unknown youth in his arms. Kunwar Dheerpal had fulfilled his humanitarian duty and upheld the honor of his family tradition. At that time, the prince was only 13 or 14 years of age. When the people present in the festival came to know that the savior of the drowning youth was none other than their own heir apparent, Kunwar Dheerpal, the son of Maharaja Danshil of the capital Bhojgarh Darawar of the kingdom, the Ganga Ghat and the enveloping sky were rent with the joyous uproar of the victory of the prince. The neck of the prince was hidden under a heap of garlands rained over him by the felicitating admirers. The crowd of the fans surged like a tumultuous sea to have a glimpse of their higher prince. King Dheerpal carried on the administration of the kingdom like his ancestors, according to the command of his Gurudev. He was very efficient in his duties and actions. Whatever words he uttered were spontaneous expressions of truth. He had spent his life in strict and testing austerities. Serving the elders and teachers and obeying their commands were regarded by him as the foremost aim of his life. His subjects were happy and prosperous in his reign, just like his fathers, and all of them heartily sang the praises of their monarch Maharaja Dheerpal. While life was thus passing on in dutiful calm, one day there was a sudden outburst of bhakti in his heart. he began to think of the history and life characters of his ancestors. How noble were their actions? Shall I be able to proceed on their footprints? Can I also not be a Danveer, a hero of charity, merciful and brave? Can I not add a shining honor to the family of my ancestors? With these thoughts hovering in his mind, he took a vow before his Gurudev Vigyanand. From today, I will not have a pice for the maintenance of myself and family. I will not eat even a grain without having earned it with my own labor. I will not regard myself as a king anymore. I will carry on all the administration of the state, sitting not on the throne but on the ground. And I will also sleep on the ground like my poorest subjects. The king started on his plan. He worked hard like any manual laborer and supported his family with his earnings. The fame of the renunciation and sacrifice of Raja Dheerpal spread all over the earth and skies, and even the gods in the heaven began to talk of the ideals and values of life of Maharaja Dheerpal, who became a unique example of an upright man. Even today, his woe reverberates in all directions. This is the beauty of the virtuous record of noble persons. They practice what they speak, and their word is an indelible inscription for the posterity. The tradition of the Kshatriya kings of Kashyap Gotra is unparalleled in so far as they have sacrificed their all in obeying the commands of their Gurudev. All honor to you, Dheerpal. You are the high honor of Kshatriyas. May your flag always flutter high on the sky. Even the great gods Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh have bowed down their heads to honor your dynasty. After some more years, one day the family guru Sri Vigyanand Ji Maharaj blessed his disciple King Dheerpal according to the religious rites and family traditions, and initiating him into the stage of sannyas, fourth stage of renunciation, bid him farewell to the forest and handed over the reins of the kingdom to his son Kunwar Bhagwan Singh.